5 minutes to see if I could gather my ideas together. This is why it's so important that you have a plan, because I've started to write this without a plan and then I found it a bit tricky. But I was able to use the grid to make a start. So I've just jotted down my first paragraph, my first verse or stanza, and I've been thinking about the kind of punctuation to use in there and how I'm going to make it very personified. So I'm going to read it to you and then I'm going to tell you how I got to that point, and I might change a couple of bits as well. A hand reached out and grabbed my body. Finally, I was being used again. Do you know how lonely it gets in that pot? Not a pencil to talk to, not a hand to be held in. Just for a second, I rejoiced that the moment had come. He picked me up gently and popped off my cap. I couldn't wait to flow freely across the whiteboard's smooth surface, but something felt terribly wrong. So you can see there that it's all in the eyes of the whiteboard pen, so there's lots of personification. I had initially written here for rejoice the word happy, or I'd said just for a second I was happy, but I changed it to rejoice because I thought that would be a more powerful word choice. I've noticed as well here that I said, where have I written it now? The moment had come. I'm just going to change that to the moment had arrived. It just flows a bit better and it's a bit more cohesive. So now we're just going to have a look at how I came to this point. The first thing I did, as you'll notice last time, is I did count some of the syllables in each line. Much of mine is just slightly off. So if the first line, for example, should have been 12, I've got 13, but that's fine. I just use it as a bit of a guide to be able to tell me how my writing should flow. And then I use the punctuation. So I'm just going to go back to here and I'm going to you can see that here it had not a soul to speak to, comma, not a thing to do, semicolon. And I magpied that and I said, not a pencil to talk to, not a hand to be held in, semicolon. But instead of a comma, I use ellipsis. That's totally up to you which you use, but it just gave me an idea of what to do. Going back to the other one, I made sure that I followed on sentences. So you can see that this one started here and continued down here. It wasn't all just one sentence per line. So I did the same. I said, just for a second, I rejoiced that the moment had arrived. He picked me up gently and popped off my cap. I should add in there a full stop. I couldn't wait to flow freely, so there's a bit of alliteration, across the whiteboard's smooth surface. It's the whiteboard surface, so I should have an apostrophe there, but something felt terribly wrong. Now I'm just going to go back to the grid. It said here about using links. Something felt terribly wrong. That should give you as the reader a really good idea that the tone and atmosphere are about to change and something's going to happen that was very unsettling for me. So I'm going to focus my next paragraph all about how I'm used. So when we press the end of it too hard into the whiteboards and it pops back inside the pen, or when the lids are left off and they get dried up. So I'm going to have a think about how to focus on that, and I'm going to magpie the ending of the original poem by saying about potentially ending up in the bin, because we all know that is where whiteboard pens go when they've run out. I have used some expressive language and some imagery. I've tried to change the atmosphere, but you'll see more of that when you read through my uploaded complete poem. Metaphors now is something I really need to work on. So I'm going to have a look at that as I go back into my poem, and I might add in a simile as well. Everything else from the grid I've made a start on. So I know that a couple of sections of Mapos are my areas of development. Perhaps you can have a look through and see if there's anything that you think went well or anything you would work on. So WWWs and EBIs. And you can use mine as a prompt. You can magpie some sections from mine and from the original to create your poem on an item of your choice. So good luck. If you need any help, please let us know. There should be lots of prompts in the folders this week, and the grid is your best friend, so please do use it. Take care, Year 6.